So, guys, I don't know if you know this, but we're coming up to our 1-year anniversary of the We Promise Nothing show.
We haven't been at it a year, have we?
Oh, almost. September 5th will be 1 year. I know maybe you guys haven't been doing it as long, Myles and Zube, but me and Da Boo here, we've been kicking it WPN style for almost a year.
Nice, WPN.
So are you guys calling yourself OGs?
We're OG WPNers, that's right.
Okay.
Get with the slang. So tonight we're going to celebrate by playing some games. We're going to play a little Fix That Movie. We're going to play a little movie quotes. And then the following week, also on top of that, Lip will be leaving us soon. So hopefully we're going to get one more show with him. And he's going to host some movie quotes, hopefully with us. And that's... I'm pretty excited about the next couple of weeks, so I hope everyone will be listening. But starting tonight, we're going to have a games night. Woohoo! Hit that music. This is Jpar, and you are listening to the We Promise Nothing show. This week on the show, we have Myles, we have Zube, and we have Da Boo. Before we get things started, I'd like to remind everyone that the music that you're hearing on the show right now is brought to you by SoundsLikeAnEarful.com. If you need great music for your podcast, check them out. SoundsLikeAnEarful.com. Alright, so tonight we are going to be doing a games night. Say hello to the crowd. Everybody. You.
Me?
Well, sure, why not? Anyone, Jesus.
I'm ready for some games.
You ready for some games?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for like a Saw reference or something.
Oh. But, we are doing movie quotes later on tonight, Myles, but I didn't want to maybe give one of mine away. I'm not going to tell you what my movie quotes are, but I will be hosting movie quotes. It's a qualifying match for one of you to take me on for my championship, my movie quotes championship. That's right.
How do you walk with that championship belt so tight?
I know, I wear it everywhere I go. It's tough. It looks weird when I'm standing in line at the bank, you know?
Yeah.
But before we get on to our movie quotes round, which will be later on tonight, we will be playing Fix That Movie. And I know a few of us have been having problems with some of these DC movies that have been coming out lately. So I'm going to give these guys a chance to fix those movies now. But before we get on to that even, as I said in the beginning, I want to remind everyone that September 5th will be the 1-year anniversary of our show. The season finale will be potentially Lip's departure. He's going to save lives in the U.S., and we're going to play movie quotes, hopefully, do a bad skit, and review a movie. Likely, it might be a 2-part episode, or I might release it as one big clump. Haven't decided yet. So I just want to take this moment to thank everyone in the past year that's been listening to our show. It's been a tremendous amount of ups and downs, and we only plan on pushing this further. Eventually, we want to get into video. We're taking care of another deal right now that I don't want to talk about too much. Just hoping that everything goes fine with that. No matter how it goes, though, we're going to keep doing this, and as long as the fans keep listening, keep liking, keep commenting, and keep sharing, then we will be definitely doing this. Our moderate success is only possible because of you guys that are listening to us right now. So I thank you guys so much. And what do you guys say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that we actually had such a great fan base for... God, has it really been a year? It doesn't feel like it's been a year. It's almost a year,
yeah. So we're up to 31 subscribers at this point as I'm recording this. So we'll see where this goes on in the future.
Yeah, and we got a lot of good feedback. We've expanded on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter.
We're on Twitter now.
Yeah, and we established a nice relationship with Talk Nerdy Boys.
Yeah, and they're on Eastlink, which is a local cable company here. We've been doing some work with them, as you know, you've heard them on the show. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited for the future.
Me too.
You don't sound that excited, though, Myles.
Well, it is cool to hear you guys say you've been around for a year, and thank you for having us for as long as I don't even know when I started here. It was
before me.
It was just before Zube.
I think it was maybe February or March you jumped on board.
Kind of feels like it with the turn of the new year.
Okay, it was Die Hard. That's all I know.
Yeah.
It's a good time to come in on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to Jpar and Boo for including me into the fold. And as a fan, when Jpar tagged me into the posts and listening to the podcasts, and really great content, and I think just onward and upward from here.
Yeah, hopefully so. All right, so we're also playing a game with our Facebook fans. Something that I just started today. Megan D was the first to name a scene, Raiders of the Lost Ark. She has gotten herself 2 promise points. Now, what are promise points, you might be asking yourself? Well, they're worth absolutely nothing. But we do say your name on the show, and we will keep track of the points leader as this game goes on. I got a new picture up on the Facebook page now, which you can name for 3 promise points, and we will continue to update the stats as this goes on. And now let's get on to our first game, which is Fix That Movie. And if you haven't heard what Fix That Movie is yet, I'm going to just relay the rules to you. Basically what it is, we play a game kind of like Pitch That Movie. We pitch a movie to a TV or movie producer, and they try to make the best movie out of what they're given. In this scenario, we take a bad movie and we take one thing that we want to fix in it, and they try to argue to say which idea would fix the movie the best. If you guys have listened to it before, it was episode 19 and a half where we did this, and we're going to do it again. So we get to complain about movies a lot. Now, I want you guys to fix that movie, and this time our theme is bad DC movies. And I know even some of the new ones, I know you guys have been complaining about those new DC movies been putting out. Well, they might have a chance to fix them too. So here are the 7 potential movies that you guys will be fixing. Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Superman Returns, the dreaded Superman 2 that we reviewed, Green Lantern, and Batman and Robin.
Oh, wow. Great choices.
Great bad choices. Great awful choices.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Sophie's Choice.
Well, that's what this game is all about. But you're only going to get to potentially fix 3 of those movies. So, yeah, roll the die of destiny and let's see who gets their chance at this first.
Big winner. Here we go. Blowing up for me, Myles?
No, don't do it.
Thanks.
Don't do it. It's weird.
I did it.
11 for Zube. No. Oh, that's enough, guys.
Is that not weird?
16 for Myles.
God damn.
It's gonna go counter. No, I'm not doing it, Boo. It's gonna go counterclockwise from whoever gets the highest. 4. And that is not Boo. It starts with Myles.
So
Myles!
I picked the movie?
Yeah, now we're gonna give you about a minute to, after you choose your movie, we're gonna give you a minute to tell us what's the one thing you would fix about the movie and make your case for it.
Are we all fixing the same movie?
Yes, actually, sorry, make that 30 seconds. You're going to get 30 seconds to state your case. You're all fixing the same movie, and then once you've all stated your case, it all goes around the table. You're going to argue to see, you say why the other person's ideas aren't the best.
Okay, I don't need 30 seconds.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Wow.
Suicide Squad.
All right.
It's the freshest. It's the newest.
All right, so you want to fix Suicide Squad, and what is it you want to fix about Suicide Squad?
I want to fix the villain, the antagonist.
All right, so you think if the villain was fixed in the Suicide Squad plot, it would be better?
Yes.
Okay, and Boo, what would you fix about Suicide Squad? What's the one thing that's going to fix it?
You know what? I honestly don't know if the villain's so much the fault here.
So what would you fix?
I might honestly say it's oh god, it's such a fine line between these. I'm gonna have to say we're gonna actually need a little bit more character development behind our team.
And Boo wants more character development. Zube.
I'll expand on that. Probably kind of hand in hand with Boo here, but I would change the R rating, which would go hand in like the rating for the movie. So PG-13 or whatever it was. People's heads are getting
So
cut
you
off.
want to make it R-rated?
R-rated, but also have Joker.
Okay, you can only pick one though.
Yeah, one.
But that would make it an R-rated movie.
What would?
Having more Joker in it.
Well, you can only pick one. More? You want the R rating or you want more Joker?
Right. Oh
Last time we
God.
played this game, you were all over the place, and that's why you lost. So you got to pick one.
Yeah, no, I apparently didn't read the rules properly.
I think I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not going to help you there, Zube. Sorry.
So pick one.
Wow.
Shit
Only-
Creek, man.
This is like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
It is.
Jeez.
Pick one. What's the one thing that's going to fix this movie?
R-rated movie.
All right, R rating. Okay, Myles, you can start with the argument. Why is yours better than theirs?
Okay, so the problem for me that stood out was the fact that you have these ground level people all together, and you have this god-like antagonist.
Yeah.
The problem was you couldn't make any sense or heads or tails out of how they were going to fight this godlike being. So it kind of took away from the fact that each person had a talent behind them, and none of them could use their talent when it came down to the antagonist. Everything led up to this big fight, and the fight didn't make sense because it was too big and it was too soon. So if we had more of a ground level villain like Joker even, which should have been it because the trailers were really misleading, holy crap.
No.
Yeah, it would have been better because you have ground level people against ground level people, and it's kind of like a Netflix.
And then maybe Jared Leto would have liked it.
Yeah, maybe he would have liked it. Yeah, because there would have been more.
There's
Jared
more
Leto.
of him in it, yeah, so he
Yes.
would have liked it.
Yeah, so-
Fantastic. All right, that's a good reason and good argument. So what do you guys say about that, Boo?
Well, see, I'm not entirely certain that I feel like the villain was causing the issue with the characters not being able to go toe-to-toe with them in this case. I felt like if maybe there was enough development with each of the characters to understand what their powers represent and how formidable they can each be, but more so as a team, that we saw the team come together by the end of the movie up to a certain degree, but I still felt like it wasn't enough meat and potatoes to their whole story to kind of give us a better understanding on how they could go up against the villain ultimately. I don't know if changing the villain would have done any different. I understand what you're saying. It would ground the fight, so to speak, and make it more believable, more plausible. I don't quite know if that's really the story they were going for, and at the same time, a story that we really deserve.
It's definitely not what they're going for because they didn't go for it.
I don't know. The villain, we well know who the villain is. Obviously, it's someone who is quite out there in terms of power. It doesn't necessarily mean they were incapable of bringing her down. It's very unbelievable, I'll admit. But if I actually was to understand each of those characters as part of their team's ensemble, I probably would have had a little bit more faith in thinking that they can go toe to toe with this person, so to speak. So I really do feel that if they would have spent a little bit more time to give me more, as I call it, meat and potatoes to these characters, then I would have had a little bit more believability to the storyline.
All right, good point. Zube, do you got anything to say against that?
Yeah, the character development, like you're talking about, goes hand in with like how to deal with the villain. Now, I just remember during our podcast, we're talking about the beginning of the movie where they're talking about Superman's death, which kind of goes hand in hand with the villain. Because it's out there, it's crazy and all that stuff. And I agree they did a poor job. This goes into the character development about the villain, because we didn't know until we actually had to research it. Jpar researched it about the new.
So you're supporting Myles' answer? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm saying that.
Actually, so
Keep
far you
going.
have. Yeah, but yeah.
Keep going, too.
It sounds like you're supporting their answers, not supporting yours enough.
Okay, I'm getting to that, but you're asking me a question why
All right.
about them, right? So basically, when it comes to about the Superman complex, is actually answering that question about like how do we handle this type of new threat, and the only person that handled that new threat was Diablo towards the end, and then they had they had their own talents, like both Deadshot and Harley Quinn solved the problem at the end. So they did have an explanation at the beginning about the new gods, and like you're saying that it's not believable, but since Superman was like the first unexplained phenomenon that happened in this new DC universe, now these other type of beings are popping up now.
So
and then the government is dealing with the Suicide Squad. That's what I'm trying to get at. So when it comes to my point about the rating, where it would actually expand on the character development, and it would show more of like these guys actually doing more work, and also based on the film's success, it would actually be more successful because they would have the best of both worlds from the Marvel universe, where they had the Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it, right, with the comedy and everything, but also the Deadpool, where the R rating, where it became very popular as well. And that was like the first lead-in for superhero movies with the R rating. So
Okay.
that's basically my point, is that, and then also the Joker, because I also have the Joker in there, and apparently all of his extra scenes were pushing it over to the R rating version of the movie. Because with the Batman vs Superman, the uncut version, it was R rated, and actually people, it's a proven out there that the sales for the Blu-ray for Batman vs Superman increased because of the uncut version was more popular than the actual theatrical version of it, just because it was an R rating.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys encounter one more time, and then I'm gonna make a decision.
I'll just go first, Myles. If you want to go first.
Sure. So I think the big problem for me is this was one of the third movies this year alone that had a giant beam in the sky that was threatening to destroy the Earth. So if we had a more grounded person, like the Joker is the bad guy, because they even lead away from the movie a few times and go Joker route. So we got some character development with the Joker, but they kind of then just pushed him to the wayside, and like you said, because there's no R rating, we kind of lost him. But at the same time, that God twirling around doing God knows what at the end of the movie, and she was the threat of all human race, didn't do it for me. She wasn't menacing, even with the giant beam in the sky, the third beam. I needed something to believe, like Harley hitting her with a hammer didn't make sense. Cutting her with Katana's sword. I don't even remember Katana's sword. Spoiler alert, by the way. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of spoilers in here.
I don't even remember Katana losing her sword in the first place. So that was kind of like, I'm going to have to watch that movie again and see if that was a flop.
The last act, Enchantress wished all their weapons away, including her sword. So that's where it happened.
Gotcha. Anyways, the bad guy sucked. I needed a better bad guy.
All right, so you got...
I'm just going to keep it straight and forward and simple. I feel like we've kind of lended to each other in all of our ideas.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It kind of feels like we're
I mean, you could add any one of these ideas or all three of these ideas. I'm sure would make it better.
Yeah,
I will agree that a rating system is certainly not a bad thing. I'm not quite too sure if just changing the rating system would immediately fix this new movie. It'd be like saying, well, we need more violence. We need, for instance, adding more Joker. I would think seeing more Joker on screen would create a more violent movie naturally with him on scene.
Yeah.
Would that make a better movie? I don't know, because then I would start to feel like this is more a Joker movie than it is a Suicide Squad movie.
But then it would cover the bad, like the new villain would be Joker instead of the Enchantress, right?
Now you're mentioning his comment, which is now make the Joker potentially the main villain, as we had all assumed, instead of the Enchantress and her brother.
But that's the way it supports all of our ideas all together at the same time.
Sort of. I don't quite think either of those are really necessary. In my honest opinion, the Suicide Squad was the main focus of this movie, clearly, but I felt like because I didn't get enough understanding of each of the characters individually, by the time the end of the movie came to be, I didn't get a better understanding on how them as a team could cohesively work up against such a massive foe. Where, maybe if they grounded the foe a bit more, it might have been a little bit easier to stomach, but I don't know if that's necessarily the movie I would want, actually. I didn't mind the fact that there was this kind of epic being that they really had no chance of going up against. I wanted a better understanding on how they were going to literally overcome
chance
this.
And no name. They didn't even have a name.
No, you're right. But again, out of
very
character
sad.
development, I felt like those would have been the issues that
really
could have
bad.
easily been ironed out. And at the same time, who knows, we might have ended up with a more serious rating because of much more in-depth development. And at the same time, who knows, I think the villain might not have been as much of an issue because we would have had a better understanding on who the Enchantress is and how it is that the Suicide Squad came up with a tactic that would actually overcome her as a godlike creature.
And they still didn't, though.
All right, time.
They couldn't. Yeah.
Time. I'm calling it. Okay. I've come down. I've come down to two. I'm sorry, Zube, you are out of this one.
Shocking.
You were supporting I was with you at first when you said the R rating, but it felt like you just kept supporting everyone else's answer. I didn't hear enough as to. You kept going back to like the Joker thing, which was almost more like.
That supports my R rating.
You didn't repeat, though. You're going on about just having Joker in or more Joker. I was worried that you were kind of straying a bit from enforcing your R rating because it seemed like that was your main focus, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. It goes hand in hand with the Joker because the R rating with Batman vs Superman, they included extra character development and extra more violent scenes, and Joker had more violent scenes.
Yeah, but your argument is the R rating. You keep going on about Joker. I don't know where your argument is. It's not focused enough, so I'm focusing on these two.
Wow. Cutthroat.
He's the judge. I'm not.
All right, so Myles,
he's like Judge
you made a
Dredd.
very good point. I'm so tired of seeing the beams in the sky. Why do we need these super overpowered villains for a B-class group that is a street-level kind of group? Boo definitely made a good point. A lot of people needed a lot more build-up, a lot more character development. So I'm going to go to the panel over here.
Boo. Well, I think I haven't watched the movie.
Ooh.
Who made the better argument?
Your ears are burning.
Who made the better argument?
Yeah,
I think
really.
Boo did because like.
All right, I'm going to give it to Boo based
There
on
you
the
go.
panel's decision. So he gets the first point. And now it is round 2. And he will pick the next movie. We still have Batman and Robin, Green Lantern, Superman 2, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman.
I was going to pick another easy one, but I kind of want to grab one that I want to see how everyone else reacts to. Green Lantern.
Uh-oh.
So I'm sure we all have gripes about that one, right?
All right, we already know it's a bad movie, Boo, so
to
what's the
start?
one thing that's going to fix it?
What would I change? So many issues. Wow. Actually, I had a good one, but I just realized it's not that great of an idea. I'm going to simply say this.
You're off to a great start again.
No, I know, but I realized it wasn't quite the way I wanted to word it. Honestly, I really feel like Hal Jordan just wasn't the right focal point as the first Green Lantern, because as the character who was introduced to, coming from someone who's been introduced to this character for the first time, I hadn't read his comics, but I had a better understanding that Hal Jordan wasn't the first, if I'm not mistaken, right? There
Well,
was
Hal
someone-
Jordan is the first.
Not
I
the
thought
first
there was-
human.
Not the first
No,
human,
no,
but the first...
Let me rephrase. I thought he wasn't the very first human to end up with the power ring.
Oh, well, you're right. I can't remember that.
So, and I
The
think
original Green Lantern, you're right. He's not the original Green Lantern. I believe there is someone else that's...
And for all I know, I kind of feel like because maybe the actor they had behind Hal Jordan did cause this issue
Ryan Reynolds?
for me, but you're right. I have nothing against his acting. I just felt like it might not have been the great casting for this.
So you were saying Ryan Reynolds wasn't a good Hal
I'm going to
Jordan.
say casting, yeah. I feel
All right.
like the main actor...
So Ryan
have been
Reynolds is
changed.
the problem with Green Lantern. Who knew? All right, Zube.
I think Ryan Reynolds will take exception to that. I would say the CGI. It
Oof.
seemed pretty cheesy and kind of like all over the place. Very distracting.
Well, I could definitely agree with you there. All right, Myles.
I'm going to say the director. The director sets the tone, right? And I found that there was the wrong tone throughout the whole movie, and it just kind of got lost. Whether it was funny, whether it was serious, I didn't really know how I was supposed to feel about the movie while I was watching it.
The tone?
The tone.
Okay.
The director, sets the tone.
Oh,
I
so
want
the
a different
director. So the director, okay.
Yes.
All right, and just as a fact check, thanks to Robin here, the original Green Lantern is Alan Scott.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, so Boo, you want to start us off?
Well, again, I'll keep it pretty simple. I feel like it was because of the character, the way Hal was written in, as though he was more of a comical character than he was somewhat serious. I get that he's going to have his comedy moments, but it was just too much of it, way too much. So maybe having casted someone else into the role of whichever version of Green Lantern we're going to get, I just felt like maybe Hal Jordan may not have been the right choice. So having put Ryan Reynolds in this position and giving me too much comedy in a role that this is the first time I got introduced, so I didn't
Now,
feel
is
was
it
the
that-
best iteration of Green Lantern.
Now, do you want the original Green Lantern, or do you just want a different Green Lantern?
No, it's not so much that I wanted the original. I think what I was trying to point out was that because Ryan Reynolds as the actor behind Hal Jordan gave me a very unique perspective on this character, it wasn't the kind of Green Lantern I was kind of expecting. Because again, you're dealing with this very galactic-based character, with powers that are quite out there. And I find it funny that Zoo brings up the special effects. Mm-hmm. And maybe in some ways I can see it being corny, but that kind of went hand in hand with a little bit of the humor that I think Ryan had tried to instill with the characters. So this idea of, how many different types of weapons and powers can he come up with just, the back of his mind? And it was always the more obvious ones. And then over time, he became more creative with it. But that's when it just went over the top with the ridiculousness of it, including a toy track that would literally redirect was it a helicopter? So it would come down to a smooth
You didn't like
landing.
that scene?
It was just a lot of CGI. It wasn't quite the scene that I expected.
So you're supporting his, or you're saying because of Ryan Reynolds?
I felt like because Ryan Reynolds' character was already too comedic, his actions creating the special effects almost went too far. No, what I'm simply saying is that if they would have changed the type of character that Hal Jordan was played by Ryan, it might not have turned out to be as over the top.
Zube, you got something to counter that?
Well, basically the CGI. I'm going to argue my point. The CGI, just to be more specific, was his suit. Like some of the weapons that he created, where you have a little bit over the top. That's basically that's like Green Lantern. They have to use that. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Well,
So what's the CGI problem that you had with it?
with the costume.
Okay.
Because apparently they were trying to launch the DC universe with Green Lantern. That's from what I read. And the thing is, you notice that now in all the DC universe ones, like Batman, Superman, they have the same kind of suits. And I don't think it would have been much of a stretch to actually create that kind of suit for Green Lantern as well. So basically, the suit itself with the CGI was a little over the top for me.
Myles?
Well, the director is what I chose, and I was thinking J.J. Abrams would have been a better director for this.
Oh.
Because
This
he...
is before he was with Disney, right?
Yes.
I think
Sure.
that's when he was.
It was before he was with Disney when this came out. Yes.
No clue.
I'm pretty sure the superhero thing hasn't even launched yet. Like, I think this might have been like the year like Captain America, Thor came out, or
Right.
even like Iron Man. So it's like it was around that time. I'm thinking.
But look
yeah.
at the franchises that J.J. Abrams has brought to us now. We have new Star Trek franchise. We have the new Star Wars franchise. He's used to having galactic situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with a serious tone. Or a tone that stays its course throughout the whole movie. This movie here, I found it started off serious, and then it just got wonky and funny, and then it tried to be serious again near the end. I'm like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know where this movie's going. So I'm just going to support my fact, J.J. Abrams for the win.
Okay, so you think of recasting
Well,
Ryan Reynolds is more important than the director?
If I had to rebuttal, I mean, in comparison to what you two guys are saying, I don't know if the effects enough would have been enough to kind of say the movie would have gotten better with different types of effects, if that's what we're kind of breaking it down to. A different perspective from a different director might have changed the tone to the movie. Well, clearly would have, for good reason. I don't know if the tone of the movie was what really griped me, though. It might have went hand in hand maybe with both the character that Ryan was trying to portray in the movie, and I think the way the story was progressing, maybe the two went hand in hand. I didn't quite see it that way. I will say this, though. I really do feel like the tone of a movie completely changes the second the main character is changed. And I think having said that...
got me agreeing, and then you switched it at the end.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I just love the fact that I think that we're kind of all seeing it from a similar perspective, but from slightly different areas of the movie, right? We could literally give him a different suit, and suddenly it would be a slightly different tone of a Green Lantern almost, these are the little details that we could look at. But I just absolutely feel that Ryan didn't quite... I didn't see him as the Green Lantern in this case. Even before he became on to be Deadpool at a later time. That has nothing to do with it. I feel that even on the first moment when he had come on screen there as Green Lantern, he just was not the Green Lantern I expected. So I definitely feel he needs to be changed.
Are you right? You guys got something to counter that?
Well, you mentioned Deadpool, and he did make fun of the suit in Deadpool. Yeah, because that's one of the sticking points from fans is that the suit was distracting. It looked cheesy, whatever you want to call it, any type of adjective.
I think, Ryan Reynolds was a good cast because you have to think if this was going to start the DC universe, eventually he would be mingling with some pretty serious characters. We got Ben Affleck as Batman, we have Henry Cavill as Superman, and they're both brooding characters together. Where is the polar opposite? Ryan Reynolds would have been perfect for that.
Well, yeah, imagine him and Flash, because his new Ezra Miller apparently is supposed to be this comedic, like the stand-up guy.
Now we need an Ezra Miller because we lost Ryan Reynolds.
That's probably what it is, and I think that's the studio recognizing their mistake from the Green Lantern movie and trying to influence that, because they made some kind of behind the scenes changes after Batman vs Superman. And I think this is one of them is with the Flash, as well, because they need to have more levity in most of their movies. So especially Justice League going forward.
Okay, final comments.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to say this. If I had to think of another character that would have fit the role a little bit better in my mind for Green Lantern, would have been Nathan Fillion, because he's got that same he's got that debonair kind of accent. I do believe he's even voice acted the character in one of the animated series. So
Yeah,
I
good
think
call
that's
on that
part
one.
of the reason why I feel like he fit the role nicely, because he's got like the one-off witty lines going on.
He'd be a bit older than Ryan Reynolds, though.
Right, which is fine. Age is not so much the issue. I think it's just the way they have the character shown on screen. And Nathan, I think, would have hit it in a slightly different way, but not quite so comedic to the point where it's just a little too much. I think Ryan Reynolds was, just sometimes a little too slapstick humor, in my opinion. So,
Any other final comments from you two?
Well, you're saying that keep Hal Jordan in the movie.
He's saying recast Ryan Reynolds.
Just recasting
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, I didn't have any problem with the casting of Ryan Reynolds. I think that's one of the draws to the movie. The CGI was actually, and specifically the costume, was the main sticking point for the movie being bad as it was.
Myles.
Well, I feel like I picked a trump card with the director, because the director can also dictate how he wants that character to be portrayed as well. So we could have kept Ryan Reynolds, because he did have some pretty intense star power before this movie came out, and then it kind of went. So what I'm saying is we could have got a different Ryan Reynolds with a different director as well, keeping him in.
could we?
Well, that's the question that we're asking ourselves. So.
All right, I'm gonna call it here.
All right.
Okay, so I'm leaning towards to two of them, but I am going to get the panel's opinion.
I'm gonna go with the director.
No, I'm
So great, you guys did not help me at all in that sense.
the greatest sin was the CGI. The greatest sin of all.
Thank you.
It was.
I think that
High
has a lot to
five.
do with the director too, though.
Well, he doesn't have all the say. The
Oh,
studio
that's true.
does.
That's true.
Okay, I am gonna give it to Zube with the CGI, and you kind of shot yourself in the foot when you're talking about the director being the trump card thing.
Well, it's true.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really is.
But also, everyone always complains about how bad the suit looks, and that's all to do with the CGI, so I will give it to Zube on that one.
Huzzah!
So Boo has a point, Zube has a point, and we got another round. Myles could potentially tie it up. That was a tough one, guys, though. You guys all made excellent arguments in that last one. All right, so Zube, you are going to pick our last one,
All right. I'm glad no one picked my pick.
which is
Batman versus Robin. Revenge
Oh,
of the Nipples.
Oh boy.
Revenge of the Batman.
Revenge of the Bat Nipples. Alright, so what's the one thing? And you're gonna say no bat nipples? Is that gonna be your answer?
Wasn't there even like a pronounced groin area? Too?
Oh yeah. There's like them putting on the suit,
Yep.
like this whole like Rambo thing, except they like put on the belt, he show his badass. Like
Had,
what?
an armored
Yeah.
thong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all kinds of terrible. I think we're gonna post that on the website.
So
Okay, anyways.
what's the one thing that can fix this abomination of a movie?
Basically a new writer, because all
New
the
writer.
lines were cheesy. Like, might as well just, instead of George Clooney, just put Adam West as Batman. It was that bad, that terrible.
It was. It really was. I gotta agree with that.
I might
Myles.
actually watch Adam West instead.
You freaking stole what I was gonna say, because the puns in that movie, are so terrible.
All right. So what's your one thing?
Oh God,
I know there's lots of things you can choose to fix this movie.
I know. I don't even know
Where to begin?
The writing, though, I hate to say it, is really bad. How about I'm gonna pull a Boo here. I'm gonna say recasting. I'm gonna get a new Batman.
Whoa, recasting.
Yeah, what was it? George Clooney in
George
that one?
Clooney,
Yeah.
Okay, no George Clooney. Although he did have a pretty good chin.
Bat chin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bat chin.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get rid of him because fuck it.
Fuck him, he sucks.
Fuck
I
him.
agree. All right,
Yeah.
bye George Clooney, recast. All right,
That's for the whole cast, though.
Wow. The problem with this is there's so much you can kind of pick at that needs replacing. God, what do I want to say that needs changing here? So again, you had said
Now, is your
Writing.
casting specific to George Clooney or just recasting for the whole
like
movie?
casting the whole
Let's
movie.
do the whole movie.
All right, he's recasting the whole
Oh, so
movie.
you
'Cause
stripped
the-
that option for me completely.
So he's sticking the writers, he's taking the cast. Now, what can
Because
you...
they ruined Bane, they ruined Mr. Freeze, they ruined... Well, actually, Poison Ivy I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't leave me with much there, guys. Damn you. I'm gonna just put it out there. Take away all of the stupid bat gimmicks. I hate them with a freaking passion.
You mean the Bat Visa and the...
Everything. I'm not talking about the simple tools. I'm talking about, the bat visa or the bat skates or whatever. You name it. I swear to goddamn God, they had a fucking bat everything in that
I sure did.
The Bat Nipples!
movie. It's certain, yeah.
Didn't they eat bat bacon with their eggs at one point?
Possibly.
The worst part...
Probably had a bat fork and a bat knife in the process.
Yeah.
All right.
So, take away the gimmicks.
Zube, so why is the... can't even remember now. Why is the lines more important than them two?
Oh, this is the whole flow of the movie, like from the beginning to the end. Like, okay,
So many
they
bad
kind
ones.
of had the framework of like Mr. Freeze's backstory, but again, it was all dumbed down and 1960s Batman style, like for everything in the movie.
Yep.
And it just left a really bad taste. I couldn't really watch it. It was just like I like laughing throughout the movie, but it was just like I'm watching this on a dare now.
So you're saying it'd
because
be
it was so bad.
it might be a bit more bearable if they didn't throw out those 50 more puns in there.
I felt like they needed to pay me money to watch the movie.
No.
So
Woo. All right, Miles. So why is casting more important than the writing or the bat gimmicks?
Well, they took characters that we know and love, and I'm just going to use the 90s Batman as a reference point. That to me kind of had like the staple point of the characters. So Mr. Freeze was very serious, very drawl, very to the point, and this Mr. Freeze, and this is going to go with Zube's point, every second word was some sort of cold pun, and it was just terrible, and it was distracting. So I don't even know where to go with this. Bane was terrible. They made him a mindless idiot, and the Bane in the cartoons was actually very smart. He was actually intelligent.
Yes.
He was like a counterpart to Batman.
Exactly.
He was,
He's a rival.
yeah, he was a military
Someone who could stand
genius.
toe to
He was a
toe with
rival.
him.
But in this movie, he was a
plant?
refrigerator that basically walked around and fell on people. So I want to see better. I want to see better cast chosen for the role.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze was never this hulking Mr.
Yeah,
Universe
yeah.
winner. He was actually a pretty like slender dude that fit in the suit, and the suit made him big.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. And Bane is actually like kind of big when he's small, but then he's really big when he's big. And this movie is just big, and he does talk when he's big. Now he's a brainless brute.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. It sucks.
Uh,
Ruin that character.
ruined-
Okay,
yeah, ruined it.
so why are the bat gimmicks more important than the writing or the casting?
Well, given that they all lend to each other, if there's one thing I really hated the most out of the way they told this Batman story was that there was just too many coincidences and too many. I mean, I'm calling them gimmicks because it was getting to the point where every single moment he had a scenario where you could solve it with the bat
Right.
thing.
Right.
It takes away from the effect that Batman.
It's like, how are they going to get out of this one? Oh, let's check the bat belt and see what he's got.
The joke's always been his utility belt had a tool and a solution for everything. That's fine. But don't be so damn obvious about it. Like the bat credit card? Come on! Why can't it just be a regular credit card? Really? What's so special about the bat? What bank would fucking issue that goddamn credit card?
Bank of
Anyway.
Gotham.
I'm sure.
What,
Gotcha.
But then he knows who Batman is? Or they know who he is? What?
They
he just shows up in his bat
endorse that
suit?
they have a Batman that takes care of crime, and it's like, hey, get your limited edition Batman.
Who
I don't
shows
know.
up from time to time to do
Sorry.
what bat withdrawals?
I'm just making up bullshit at this point.
Yeah, bat deposits. Wow, this is really going too far. But the thing is that that's what the thing about gimmicks is. It took completely anything left of that was serious out of the movie was completely stripped. The second those things started popping up, it's like, oh, okay, I think I can take this movie a little bit seriously. Oh no, never mind. You know, you just had to throw something stupid right in front of me.
All right.
That ruined it.
All right. So, final thoughts. Why is yours better than everybody else's?
Well, the writing basically was just so terrible, and they also expanded too many characters and too many villains. There's like 4 good guys, one new introduced that movie. Then they also had 3 bad guys. Poison Ivy, Bane, and Mr. Freeze.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if there's a 4th one in there.
Yeah, it gets confusing. Yeah.
And basically, this movie put the Batman franchise on life support.
It did.
It was terrible to the point where basically they didn't want to do anything. It was like they carpet bombed Batman after that, like to put away. Actually, no, to the Raiders of the Lost Ark, they put it away in a crate and just put it back left corner of the warehouse until Christopher Nolan saved the day.
Ooh.
So, like, again, such terrible decisions with the writing that just crippled this franchise.
All right, Myles, why is the casting more important? And final thought.
Okay, final thought. It was probably good that they killed this movie the way they did and made it so terrible that they needed a Christopher Nolan, because imagine it was just good enough to get one more sequel.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Squeeze.
Just squeeze a little sequel. But you are right. Everything kind of lends to itself, and it takes you out of the movie. The bad puns take you out of the movie. Every time someone says something stupid, it's like, oh, that's right, this movie sucks. And then the bad casting. Oh my God, why is he him? And why is he saying that? Why are they there? And then, like you said, the back gimmicks. Everything takes you out of the movie. So I think like we need all 3 of these to get a Christopher Nolan movie.
But only one can be a winner, Myles.
But only one can be a winner. So going back, I guess the gimmicks. I feel like the Bat utility belt was kind of going to be your kryptonite, just because that is what it is, right?
It is what it is, yeah.
In the movies, in the comic books, and in the TV show, he always had a way out of a situation with the utility belt, and that was what was needed. And I feel like they did do an ode to the Adam West days, the 60s
they
Batman,
definitely did.
because the punniness was definitely Adam West. So if you're an Adam West fan,
Yeah.
that's the movie for you.
That's your heaven.
Bat-2C.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad gimmicks, final comment there, Boo.
All right, you're right about one thing, Myles. We could literally tear apart this movie and there would have been nothing left, because there's nothing of this movie that really was
worth
anything great. Why gimmicks? I think the gimmicks is what really made me feel like this was just truly the Batman movie all the way through, because kind of like Myles said, you see Mr. Freeze on the screen. Why is he Mr. Freeze? I can't take him as Mr. Freeze. Why is Bane the way he is? We just couldn't take them for what they were, and I felt like that just kind of translated throughout the whole movie. But the way these gimmicks were adding to it, was just that it was getting over the top. If I were to literally see the same movie with all these gimmicks removed, I might have had a better chance at taking it slightly more seriously, with the story going the way it did. With or without a change in casting or writing, because the writing, yes, was horrible. The casting could have been a hell of a lot better. But at the same time, you take away the gimmicks, the characters at least still had some ground to work with at least the believability of what Batman was. And that, you're right, utility belt is meant to solve problems. Come on, really? Everything that he had in that belt? There is a line to draw, here in the sand. And I felt like that's why they took that line and they threw it away when they made this movie, because they figured, nope, we're going to show everything that the utility belt can fit.
All right, calling it. Okay, I'm kind of leaning towards one person here, but I'll check with the panel.
The writing, because the writing was so bad, it kind of killed the Batman franchise for me. So
Shoehorned in too many villains and too many puns.
So is that the writing again?
That's the writing.
yeah.
Woo!
High five panel. All right.
So the panel is voting for Zube, but I was actually going to go with Myles on this one.
You said was. That's past tense, meaning you changed your mind.
But I am the judge, and I am going to go with casting, because I agree with Myles 100%. Why the hell was Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze? He could have been so Bane.
That would have been a good one.
Easily
I never
an
even thought of
easy
that.
thing to fix.
Yes, that would have been a good one. There you go.
All right, so I'm sorry I went back on the panel this time. You guys are just kind of, I do take your opinions, but it's just like I did on the other ones. I couldn't decide. But we're going to make it interesting. I'm sorry that this is the second time it's going overtime, but let's make this next one really fast. And
You pick.
I'll pick it. Sure, why not? You know what, guys? We love this movie. We reviewed it. Superman 2, fix this monstrosity!
Oh, I had to take the second.
Damn right! Let's make it fast, because I'm not going to give you much time on this time. Lightning round.
Who goes?
So who started?
I did.
Let's go, Myles.
Oh boy. What to fix?
One thing. And we're going lightning fast.
Okay,
We're going Superman
the
fast.
smoke's coming out of my ears. Oh, Superman fast.
So not Flash fast.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty fast.
No rewinding time. You're not allowed.
Okay.
That's the
I
first
don't
one.
even know what to fix. It was just so bad.
One thing.
Can I say... Oh,
All of it.
yeah,
You can't give me one of those answers.
how about we go more around the table? Can we do that? And then I'll take
Pass.
scraps.
I hear pass.
If you pass now, you pass your
I pass the
answer.
whole thing? Okay, then I'm just gonna fucking say, how about tone? Can I just say tone then? We'll
All right,
just say-
tone.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say
Boo.
tone.
What would I change about Superman 2?
One thing.
What am I going to do with Superman? You know what?
What are you?
We are going to... what was that one scene that really got me on my nerves? It was, it was the scene at...
I know what I want.
oh, damn it, I can't even...
The giant
I can't picture.
fan.
You know what? We're what?
I remember that scene.
Oh, come
See,
on.
I think the problem for us that we're having right now...
But it's all bad.
It's all bad, but not only is it all bad, but halfway through the move, we made
Started
an executive
drinking.
decision. We said,
started
are we
drinking.
going to take this seriously, or are we going to start drinking?
Yeah.
We picked the latter.
We did. So quickly, Boo. What do you? The big fan.
You know what?
The giant fan.
I would have actually loved to have rather have seen a better explanation why Superman regained his powers by the end of the movie.
Okay, boom. Like it. Zube.
All right. I would say the S. The throwing.
Oh, he throws his S at them. Yeah. When he throws his.
I still stick on my mind. I haven't watched that movie like 5 years with the S. And Family Guy made fun of it, and I'm making fun of it now. Like, holy crap!
Specifically that. Throwing the
Since this is the lightning round, I already want your final thoughts and why is yours better than the others.
Okay, so it kind of leans towards these two because the tone is so serious at the beginning. We have death, we have carnage, we have destruction, but then all of a sudden we have slapstick comedy like the S. We have slapstick comedy like the giant fan that lasts for 6 minutes, and they just keep throwing things at the fan, and we were literally laughing. We didn't know why it was happening, and it kept happening. It was so long. So yeah, tone, serious comedy. What is it? Is it both? It's not. It's a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
All right, Boo.
Yes, I will admit that I feel like throughout the entire movie there was little to no explanation as to what the hell was going on. We all know that. My biggest gripe though really did have to come down to at the end of the movie, how the hell did he get his powers back? And simply said, if they would have actually explained that, I could have somewhat digested the rest of the stupidities that were all of the rest of the movie. But that was the only one moment where I felt like they completely ignored how to explain what happened right after he came back with his powers. There wasn't even an inkling of a hint. You know, that's horrible writing. Horrible. But you change that a little bit, suddenly the tone changes.
Well, I have to counterpoint that they actually did explain the convergence of the regaining of his powers because I don't know if you guys remember this.
I do.
I'm waiting for it.
Remember, Clark Kent was tricking Zod to get back into the regeneration chamber?
Yes.
And then he reversed it.
Yes.
That's how he regained his power. So he sucked all the power from Zod over back to him because he sucked his power out originally in that same chamber.
Wasn't
So
it
now-
like a kryptonite crystal or something like
The
that?
kryptonite powered it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
It's hard
basically, at first when he gave up his power, he went to that one
They
chamber.
did, but they didn't explain.
Well, that's part of the reason why I feel like I'm feeling the way I am. I know the scene you're talking
No,
about.
you're not wrong. Like, they didn't explain it right.
No, well, that's. But you're right.
I beg to
Sorry,
differ.
you're absolutely
Oh,
right.
he
That
says they
scene
did, though.
kind of does it, but again, there was little to no explanation. They just happened to be, let's put him into a chamber, and then they're going to assume what happened which was in this case him regaining his powers.
You could literally have an argument for explanation or
Right.
canon. They don't follow anything. They made their own rules.
Yeah, and then that's okay. I'll make my point, but we'll have this probably discussion after the fact. But Because I wasn't part of that podcast.
No,
I'm sure you guys
but
ripped
it's
it,
okay.
which is again, it's fine and it's all good.
The movie poops out of 2 holes now.
So I wonder what the Rotten Tomatoes score is for that. Anyways, the S thing was just completely cheese. I'm pretty sure the comics, they weren't following the comics because I don't think he ever used that in the comics.
Okay.
No, not an actual power.
I want to mention that you might be referring to the Richard Donner cut, which seems to explain it better, because according to, what is this? MovieMistakes.com, fact checked by Robin here. In the theatrical cut, nobody really knows why the green crystal restored his powers. However, if you watch the Richard Donner cut, it is explained that the green crystal is a communication device that helps Superman talks to the residual essence, spirit, ghost of his father Jor-El before he died. Blah 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 blah. Yakety schmackety.
But that was in the
What
first.
the F?
Exactly.
That was in the first movie, though.
I don't know. Is that the first one or second one?
The green one he throws into the ice to make the Fortress of Solitude, and then that's when he speaks to Jor-El. This the second one. I
Is
don't
that
know,
the second one you're looking
I don't
at?
know which crystal he used to put the chamber so he loses his power. But then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, there was actually a second chamber. There was never a first chamber.
Calling it.
That might be our Achilles heel as well.
That
We
might
never
be.
watched the Richard Donner cut.
No, we
And
didn't.
that's the only one I actually
Maybe it had a
watched.
better tone,
Really should.
and it was a serious movie the whole way.
That's the second time they fucked up on a theatrical cut with a Batman or a Superman movie. Just saying.
Wow.
Wow, OG. OG.
I think Zube might have the upper hand on us here.
All right. Well, I mean, his other arguments are fine, but I didn't hear anything to support that symbol thing.
I said it wasn't part of the comic book lore.
Okay.
That's my argument.
All right.
That should have been an argument altogether. There was
Alright.
no lore.
Yep.
Drunk Superman?
Drunk Superman?
Is that a problem
Oh,
for
that's
anyone?
Superman 3.
Oh, that's 3.
That's the dirty Superman.
Oh, we don't talk about Superman 3. I'm sorry.
Or Superman 4.
Why, do you have a mullet or something?
I didn't realize there was a 3 and 4. No, I'm joking. Never mind.
All right. Panel. Who'd you guys?
Tone. I'm going with Tone.
And that's actually what I was leaning on too is tone. So that gives you our winner, Myles. You have won. Fix that movie. You're the Fix That Movie champion until next time we play.
Sweet.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed.
Specific.
What's that?
You gotta stop being so specific.
So I hope you enjoyed. The second time us playing Fix That Movie, and to stick around, we are going to be playing movie quotes.